Hello and welcome to PhDear Diary. My name is Andy Salkeld and this is my video blog during my time undertaking a PhD in psychology at Leeds Beckett University. You will hear background noise. It is the UK and we're at 30 plus degrees heat. Windows need to be open. It is horrific. So I apologise for you being able to hear stuff outside, but it's just a necessary part of life at this stage. We're around week 28, 29, maybe 30. Losing track of time on this. I will check for the next time. And we're in the middle of August. It's 12th of August right now. And this week has been incredibly hard. As I will have mentioned in previous episodes, I have been struggling with recruitment for my research. And I have spent this week emailing people, getting in contact with people, saying it would be great if you and your company could take part. It'd be great if you could put me into companies you know to take part, etc., etc. And no one has replied. I also haven't heard a reply from the university with regards to funding availability. And generally, everything has stalled. And I need to keep telling myself that this is part of it being August and literally everyone in the world is on holiday, which is a very hard thing to do. Because to me it just feels like things are stagnating, and I would be lying if I said this hasn't hurt me and hasn't knocked my confidence even lower than it already is. It feels like there is no support. It feels like there is no interest, and for me, what that does is that pushes me into the realms of, well, if no one wants this and no one wants to support this, why am I even doing it? And combine that with the cost of living crisis that is going on in the UK, it is a very challenging place to be. Because not only am I paying the fees to do my PhD, and to do this research that I believe is important, but I may also end up having to pay to recruit people into the surveys to do the correct, achieve the correct recruitment. And that to me is incredibly hard to justify when energy bills are potentially going up by £3,000 a year. Based on latest estimates, and when food prices are increasing and everything like that is going on. And that's really rough because, again, I have put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy into this, and I appreciate that effort is energy over time, as I say that. But it is a fact that actually, if the university cannot provide additional funding, do I keep going? Or do I just pause and say, you know what, now is not the right time to be putting more money into something like this, because it might just not be the right time to do it. And that hurts. But that is a reality of where I am, and it's a reality of what life is right now. And it hurts. It has caused me to question my purpose, my ability to complete this, my ability to do this, and makes me reevaluate a lot of things. And that's a very hard place to be. And it's affecting me. I feel the symptoms of depression. I live with depression. I have for many years. But I'm feeling it for the first time in a long time. And that feeling of hopelessness and isolation and loneliness that can come with it And I know it's passing and fleeting, but this has just been an incredibly tough week for it. And that is hard, so on. It is taking a lot for me to get through this. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to take time for myself. I'm trying to allow myself the same time to relax that literally everyone else in the world is doing. And I have always struggled with letting go of work, letting go of that single thing, that purpose to keep going. And I find it very hard. And this is a rude awakening to many of the problems I have in my life. So that's kind of where I am. Nothing has really moved forward. Obviously, people could take time to reply. And you're having the zoomies, Pika. You're full on having the zoomies, aren't you? Yeah. So she's going wild. The heat is obviously very bad for cats and pets around the world, so please look after them. May they sleep through some of the worst heat and so on. But yeah, I am having an incredibly hard time with it. In this kind of null state of, well, nothing is moving forward, no one is responding, and I can't speak to anyone because there's no one around. So that's kind of the PhD, and I can't really talk more about that because there isn't anything to talk about. Now, various other things have moved on. I had a good board meeting with regards to my company that I invested in on Friday. Lots of good progress there, lots of development opportunities going on, which is really positive. I'm very pleased to see how that's moving. I think we need to move quicker with it, and I'm awaiting kind of how that happens, shall we say, and how that speed comes about. But in general, very positive. Lots of things going on, lots of opportunities to make that into something which is exciting, and I'm very, very glad to hear what has been happening and so on, which is good. In my outside of that, most of my family is also on holiday. I've had very few people to speak to this week, which has been a challenge. Yeah, she's full on Zooming. And yeah, so a lot of things have kind of built up in this. Socially, I'm taking part in a Warhammer event this weekend, Leeds GT. I believe there's like 150 odd players playing in it, and it's a large event, 5 rounds, so 5 games across 2 days. And my first round opponent, I'm playing Sisters of Battle or Adeptus Sororitas, in the very standard Bloody Rose list that I've run for about 6 months now. And my first round opponent is playing Orcs on Abandoned Sanctuaries. My opponent has 2 OBSEC units, so I'm kind of hoping that I can win the OBSEC game by just putting things into the middle and scoring points with OBSEC and just kill all his OBSEC. And just kind of play that way. I think if he sets up for a turn 1 play, then I will kind of if he sets up for a turn 1 charge, then I need to be screening with my Repentia so I can fight on death, and so that I can potentially get into the middle with my Defend the Shrine. And but otherwise, I'm hoping it should be quite good. I think I'm going to take Defend the Shrine, Leap of Faith, and Assassinate, because he has 5 characters, and they're his heavy lifters. So every single one of those he wants to use, um, I I I just get victory points by killing them, and so on. So I think that's the order I take it in. I wouldn't normally take assassinate, but I think this is one, because I don't want to take what's it called? It's like recover the relics or sacred grounds. And it sounds like we have the explanation for the zoomies as Pika is going to the bathroom. But yeah, I don't really want to take those against him, because everything I do, like moving out onto those points, is just offering a turn 1 charge. But feeding 1 unit to steal it with obsec is a fairly significant thing to be able to do. So that's kind of what I'm relying on here, and hopefully it will pay off. But we will see. I've never played the matchup before, and I think it'll be all right. I'm expecting it to be tough, because T5 is just T5 and Strength 6 from the Orcs is just very hard to kind of overcome as sisters. But we'll see. I also have a lot of shooting, so that will hopefully chip some wounds along the way. Hopefully I'll be able to just plink some dead boys before we get into combat. I have fallen out of love with Warhammer recently. It's just the game has moved to a position that is very much you either have good secondaries and therefore you just play a slow waiting game to score your secondaries, or you don't have good secondaries and you have to play for a large alpha strike to overcome your lack of secondaries. And I don't really like those two combinations, because if games of Warhammer are over on turn 1, then what's the point of turning up? Because there's no back and forth, there's no kind of competition or bits that go, or like there's no trading, there's no kind of strategy or tactics to it. It's very much a did you table me? Yes or no? Okay, fine. Well, that's the end of that. The other hand, where both people have extremely high scoring secondaries, it comes down to nickel and diming, and I'd prefer that position. That was very much the case of what it was when Stranglehold and To the Last existed. But at the same point, everything has changed, and it's probably a good thing for the game for To the Last to be gone. Stranglehold, I think, could exist. I think you just turn it into what everyone seems to have as a secondary, which is kill something on a point, take a point you didn't control, and just have it split that way, because that's encouraging you to play the game. And if everyone could have access to that, which 90% of armies have in some regards, then it would be fine. But that's kind of where I am with that. I'm still looking forward to 5 games, but at the same point, it's something I've not really been enjoying, and maybe that's just due to a point in my life of where I am, and it's an artifact of not being comfortable in where the PhD is and everything like that, or where the work is, and maybe I should be doing something else that I love and that I want to do, etc. But we'll see. I need to think about it, because it is a very, very it's challenging, it's tough, and I don't quite know how I want to do things, and so on. So I'm gonna try to chill about it, try to not think as much, and to just enjoy the next couple of weeks whilst it's quiet before everything gets crazy again. But I'm going to try to reflect on what's going on internally, try to have some conversations, and then kind of move forward from there. As I said, these were never going to be that interesting during this quiet period. They were going to be more about myself, and as I have done, I have reflected and shared. I'm sorry I don't have anything more to say about the actual studying or about the research, but I think it's important to take a step back and to say, well, hey, look, this is where things are in the grand scheme of things. I am very concerned about the financing of the PhD now. I'm very concerned about my ability to conduct the research in the way I want to do the research. And I need to see what comes out of those conversations, because ultimately, if nothing does, then at that point I need to make a decision whether to stop or not. And that's a very, very hard thing to be able to say after I've just committed a year to doing it, or 6 months to doing it. So I'm going to be thinking about that over the next week or so. I will be back then, and I will share more about my life and everything that has been going on. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will speak to you shortly. Take care.